This message is for the Supreme Court justices. This message is for John G. Roberts Jr., Chief Justice of the United States. This message is for Clarence Thomas, Associate Justice. This message is for Samuel A. Alito Jr., Associate Justice. This message is for Sonia Sotomayor, Associate Justice. This message is for Elena Kagan, Associate Justice. This message is for Neil M. Gorsuch, Associate Justice. This message is for Brett M. Kavanaugh, Associate Justice. This message is for Amy Coney Barrett, Associate Justice. This message is for Ketanji Brown Jackson, Associate Justice. This message is for Sandra Day O'Connor, retired Associate Justice. This message is for Anthony M. Kennedy, retired Associate Justice. This message is for David H. Souter, retired Associate Justice. This message is for Stephen G. Breyer, retired Associate Justice. Donald John Trump and Joe Biden are killing plaintiffs of the United States Supreme Court. And take a look at this. This is the United States Supreme Court now. I want you to go to United States Supreme Court, and when you type it in, it says something about the state. It says the Supreme Court of the United States. Supreme Court of the United States now. They changed it. And then it's 1 First Street Northeast, Washington, D.C. 20543. All right, well, I'm here to tell you that if you actually get a redress of grievances, your entire family get killed. Donald Trump and Joe Biden pulled out the eyes of Chantel Stokes and at 1324 Mariposa Street, Rodale, California, and killed Darren Strickland at 1324 Mariposa Street, Rodale, California, and went to Nora, Japan, and killed Shinzo Abe because they were plaintiffs at the U.S. Supreme Court and didn't even know. Donald John Trump and Joe Biden are responsible for home invasion. They killed Helen Grace Strickland in her house and stole the house at 1905 Arrowhead Circle in Las Vegas, Nevada, and are living in it right now in timeshares. Joe Biden and Donald Trump are living in the house of the person that they killed for the house right now. If you go to the address right now, you will find it. And so he's killing people to stop them from going to court on them. And so I wanted to give you this message because you should go to youtube.com. Go to youtube.com and go to U.S. Supreme Court. Plaintiff Aaron William Strickland versus defendant Joe Biden case of slavery. Then go to youtube.com, Prime Minister of Japan office. And then go to youtube.com, Aaron Williams Strickland, 425 NW Street, Washington, D.C. 20001, and you'll have all of the evidence and exhibits that you need right there on Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I want to write them up. I want you to contact the police for me because they hired somebody at the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and they took the case that was going to the FBI, and they decided. It was a complaint. It was a complaint that a businessman, Mike Livingston, went down to City Hall and he got a business license for the business license of Contra Costa County Martinez Sheriff Office at the Secretary of State office in Sacramento, California. But he got a business license for the business of Contra Costa County Martinez Sheriff Department at the Martinez, California City Hall. And then he went to Carquinez Middle School in Crockett, California, kidnapped Aaron William Strickland and Darren Strickland. During first period, and then he took him to his house. His 5-story house consisted of commercial real estate, agricultural real estate, residential real estate, and then he had, you know, how you can put surveillance cameras inside of the place. And so he had him inside of the place, which was the hostage takeover location, and then inside of the dumping site location, so he can watch piracy movies to cover up what he was doing, the true crimes. So he had closed circuit television networks, surveillance cameras, real estate timeshare options, and then the fifth story was Racketeer Influence Corp Organized Crime Act. And then from 1990s, I want to say 1993 to 2011, he tortured Aaron William Strickland to write that on a demand letter that was 1,100 pages that Helen Grace Strickland McLeod Smith killed Lawrence Strickland. And then so he can go and kill Helen Grace Strickland and take the house and own it. And so when he escorted Aaron William Strickland to the dumping site, Aaron William Strickland went to the FBI, crawled into the FBI torture, and told the FBI what happened. He told the FBI that he has to pay the ransom in order to stay in the dumping site, but when they come in to get the ransom, he will put the evidence and exhibits in the evidence locker. He had 29 FBI evidence lockers, as all of the evidence and exhibits were going to the FBI office. All right, and then he told them that he was going to pay the ransom to them, and then double back and give them the evidence and exhibits of how the ransom was established, but that they should not do anything about the ransom, and they should be there to witness what the guy was doing. So that's exactly what happened. A phone call was placed to 415-553-7400, and it was appearing to be the FBI San Francisco, California field office, and the ransom was provided to say that Helen Grace Strickland killed Lawrence Strickland. And then the Aaron Strickland stayed in the dumping site long enough to get the evidence and exhibits. He was able to provide the FBI with the ski mask that they wore, the duct tape that they used, the rope that they used, the blindfold that they used, the ransomers that were involved, the ransom forgers, the ransom deposits, the ransom access, the ransom forgery. He was able to provide the DNA off of that. The victimology anatomy report was that he was severely tortured. And so he called the FBI back and gave him that. And then he told him that the Helen Grace Strickland didn't really kill Lawrence Strickland. All right, so that was it. All right, so years go by. This is from 2011 to 2020, 2016. Donald Trump is the president now. And then Donald Trump sees that he's responsible or being asked to do the redress of grievances. He thought he was responsible. When you go to the book lulu.com, Lulu.com, Donald Trump Redress of Grievances Ransomers by Baron William Trump. The copyright owner is Aaron William Strickland, and Aaron was tortured and forced to sit with Baron Trump. I'll tell you about it. So anyways, he decides to take over the home invasion. Donald Trump is an Anglo-Saxon paraplegic man, and Joe Biden is an Anglo-Saxon paraplegic man, and Aaron Strickland is an African-American paraplegic man. So they're Anglo-Saxon American paraplegic men hating on the African-American paraplegic man, and they're both on what they're calling a metropolis. So they're using their mobility devices to communicate with their service provider, but they're on the same service provider as Aaron Strickland. So anyways, what happened was they decided that they were going to kill Helen Grace Strickland for the house. It had been on the desk, that it had been reported as a home invasion in progress, and they decided that they were going to do the home invasion and just say, cut Livingston out. We're not going to try to do it. We just going to kill her and take the house because we need real estate anyways and timeshare it. So that's what they did. They killed Helen Grace Strickland and took the house at 905 Arrowhead Circle at Las Vegas, Nevada. And then they doubled back and decided, and so this is when Aaron is still sitting as Barron, as Donald Trump's son. He had published the book Trump Dance Hospital by Baron William Trump, copyright owner Aaron William Strickland. And then he couldn't get mail. He couldn't send mail or anything. So one of the ransomers you will find, his name is White John. So in order to send a white letter, you have to be John Edgar Hoover, because the RICO Act, used FBI police to block the entranceway of the FBI, so you couldn't go into the FBI building and file a report. You can't go to the police and file a report. You have to go to the courts and file a report. And then when you get ready to go to the courts, and you get all of that evidence and exhibits for the courts of home valuable that proves slavery, then they will armed rob you for that. And then what they were doing was taking it and selling it in Saudi Arabia. Donald Trump was selling it in Saudi Arabia, and Joe Biden was selling it in Japan. That's what they were doing, and killing Americans by calling them transients when they're transients themselves. So anyways, I want to get all of the electronic things stored up. I want to get phone records. I want to subpoena their memory modules, hard drive technologies, and I have a right to through the courts. That's why I'm calling them transients. That's why I'm calling them that, because they killed somebody on the line, and that's the law. So anyways, and then that was it. So then they doubled back and said, well, don't sit with Barron no more. Wait. So Aaron goes to Las Vegas area and sets up the Tabernacle of God. But they say, no, don't sit with Barron with the Tabernacle of God. Barron can't be a high priest, and according to God's law, you have to put all of your talent with the head of, and not the tail. And so the head in entertainment is Sony. So they said, well, Barron can't work at Sony. Don't be Barron at the Tabernacle of God, because Barron is German and he can't be around Jews anyways, or around Japanese. Don't take Barron out of the United States. So Aaron built the tabernacle with Shinzo Abe. So this is the dry land created by God on day 3 of creation. So Aaron decides to create the tabernacle of God in Tokyo, Japan, and does that. He creates the way to heaven, the way in heaven, and the way to have treasures in heaven. I think it was billions and billions of Japanese yen, billions of Israeli new shekels, billions and billions of renminbi and Turkish liras was invested into this. It was kept at the extra space storage in Las Vegas, Nevada area. And so he goes to New York, and then in New York they robbed him. They just came up and said that it was theirs, and to give it to him. He had every receipt with him, and they said, well, you have to go to court and sue Joe Biden or we're going to kill you. And the ransom that was established by Mike Livingston earlier is what you have to go to the courts if you want to get your Japanese yen back and all of that stuff. Well, it'll be figured out. So and they were going to kill him. They actually charged Aaron with armed robbery of his own stuff and beat him up and tried to transfer a slave account into the name of Joe Biden. They were going to try to say that Aaron raped BB Jennifer. That's what Joe Biden was going to say, for a chance to own a slave in office. So after that, charges were filed on Joe Biden at the Roosevelt station. And then they used that charges and killed all of the plaintiffs. Joe Biden and Donald Trump killed all of the plaintiffs on the list, besides Barron, who was Aaron, who was the actual high priest of the tabernacle of God, with an everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh. And so that's what happened. And so now they have the house, and they're blocking the entrance to the courts. There's a court filing in the D.C. courts on Joe Biden, on Christopher A. Wray, and on Robert Conte, who's the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI director, and the USA president, because they're doing slavery home invasion, and they're holding a person who's supposed to be pardoned up. And I just wanted to let you know that it's illegal to kill Americans, and it's illegal to say that Americans can't go to another country, and it's illegal to say that you can't be on the dry land created by God, and then it's illegal to say that we're not allowed to have papers, causes, and effects. I have papers, causes, and effects, and it's illegal to say that we cannot get a redress of grievances. And I wanted to report that. I wanted to see if you can get criminal and civil charges filed. bandbankofsony@gmail.com. bandbankofsony@gmail.com. I don't have a mailing address. I think it's 635 I Street, Northeast, Washington, D.C. 20002. Aaron Williams strip mailing got dressed. But that's it. They cut the phone wires, just weird stuff. File charges on them, please.